Okay, Seth, what is one thing that you don't like about Stephanie?
Okay, it's getting hot in here.
It was hot the minute you walked in.
High school sweethearts, a lot of them don't last, and it's because you have to allow yourself to grow up.
She had put our marriage up on a pedestal. I'm like, oh girl, oh no, we are very much human. And there are no perfect marriages out there.
But the best marriages are made of two people who are willing to work.
And so I want women to have skills that can help them feel a little bit more independent.
You've got a unique business path that we really want to highlight on the show because it's so stinking fun.
I earn respect from people by just telling them the truth.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Seth, and this is The Forever Young Show. The most powerful force in this world is a woman who knows who she is, why she is here, and what she wants to accomplish.
And that's where self-care comes in. As a woman, it is my opportunity and my responsibility to take care of me.
Self-care for your mind.
Self-care for your body.
Self-care for your money.
Our mission is to serve women as they fulfill their irreplaceable roles in families, society, business, the fabric of humanity.
So let's get this show on the road.
Mandalyn Freeland is the founder and owner of Mandalyn Academy School of Aesthetics.
She is co-founder of her.community, official girl gang. Guess I'm not invited. Empowering women to thrive and love life.
Mandalyn married her high school sweetheart over 25 years ago, and they have 5 perfectly imperfect children.
Her passion is helping others to discover joy through a healthy mindset and taking chances.
Her priorities are simple but powerful: God and family.
I love this quip from her. Quote, "Faith and hope propel me to face adversity with optimism and grace. Life is good." You're feeling something right now, Mandalyn. I could see it.
Oh, I'm always feeling. Could have added that. I am always feeling.
So good.
Well, I think we want to start and talk about business because on the show, we talk about 3 primary things when it comes to women's self-care. And you bring a whole bunch of experience and story, speaking of story, when it comes to finance and women in finance, women in business. You're an entrepreneur. I was going to say a multifaceted, and then I was going to say, no, she's multi-headed. I'm like, okay, now she's a 6-headed dragon, but probably not the way you want to start it off. But talk to us about your history in business. Let's go back to, speaking about high school sweethearts, let's go back to high school and just kind of give us you're unique. You've got a unique business path that we really want to highlight on the show because it's so stinking fun.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'll go back to high school, and if it's too much, just tell me to move on. But I've always been an entrepreneur. I knew that in high school when I came home from school one day, and my mom had a VHS cassette tape sitting next to the TV. And I said, "What is this?" And she said, "Oh, a friend of mine gave it to me, some like shopping networking thing that you can do and make money off of scanning your groceries." And I was like, "Oh, have you watched it?" And she said, "No, I haven't watched it." So I'm like, "Well, let's watch it." So I pop in the video and we watch it, and I'm like, "Mom, this is seriously awesome." And so it was really fun. I told her to take advantage of the offer and get signed up, and she got her scanner. And I just remember those days of her scanning every little barcode of groceries that she bought. And we had a big family, lots of groceries. So anyways, I got my mom started, and I got started in networking and just in business in general. And then my mom loves ceramics, and she opened a ceramic shop in her home in Highland. And I did a little boutique and had like different things to sell in there. And so that was a little small, venture that we did together. And then right after high school, I got my real estate license. I was the youngest realtor in Utah at that time. And that was fun to be able to to become a realtor. It was, I learned a lot of lessons at that point. I grew up in Orlando, Florida, moved here in high school. My dad got a job transfer and moved us all here. So I didn't really know a lot of people. I had to really put myself out there. And I would dare to say that naturally I'm an introvert. My mom is like so introverted. She's like a hermit. And so I feel like I probably could allow myself to go there. But in becoming a real estate agent and then deciding to open my own beauty school, I didn't realize that I was forcing myself to become an extrovert. And so I do love people, but I remember being scared to death to speak in front of a group and things like that. But I worked for a title company, and the two brothers that own the title company talked to me about becoming an escrow officer. And I was already a realtor, and I thought, well, that could be a good thing for me. But one of the brothers decided he wanted to open a school for troubled teenagers. And so he invited me into the meetings that he had with some potential funders so that I could take the minutes, like the meeting minutes. And it was so funny. I remember sitting in there and hearing all about his idea of opening a school and helping people. And it just hit me really strong. I'm like, I need to open a school. And I don't know where that came from. It was just the weirdest thought. But I knew I loved aesthetics. I had dabbled in it in high school and knew that I liked aesthetics. And at that time, there weren't any aesthetic schools in Utah. And so I just looked into it. And here's the crazy thing. This is like, God knows what he's doing, right? Because Utah had just passed a law when I called into the Division of Licensing. They just passed a law to require licensing for aesthetics, and you had to go to school now. And so here I am, like thinking, oh, it'd be cool to open a school. And on top of that, my mom had taken the drug Fin to lose weight. This was all in 2001. And she ended up getting heart valve damage and was part of a lawsuit. They did group lawsuits.
Big class action lawsuit back in.
Class action lawsuit. Yeah. She didn't want to do it. She said, why would I do that? It's made me so happy and feel good about myself. But she actually she had to go to a girls' camp, and they required a physical, and they detected the heart murmur there. And so just crazy to think of all the stars that had to align. But she ended up being part of that class act lawsuit and got a chunk of money. And all at the same time of me talking about this, I just said, you know what? I want to open this school. I don't want to drive by and see someone else do what I want to do. And my mom told me, she's like, hey, the lawsuit's over. I'm giving you a chunk of money. Your business started. And I got my beauty school started on $34,000.
Wow.
And I remember my dad saying, you're crazy. Like, these other schools are like millionaires. They'll kill you. Like, what are you doing with $34,000? And I was like, I don't care. I mean, I'm 22. I'm naive. I think like you own a business, you're rich, and 34,000 is a lot of money. Like, I'm going to do this. Right. So I tell everybody, looking back, there's no way in heck if I knew what I was doing, I would do it again. But I'm so grateful that I did it. And, I started that. I got pregnant with my firstborn in the first year of business. And I remember living at that school day and night, living on wheat thins and water. And my husband was doing his construction business. And I just had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any college background, no business background, but I knew I loved skincare and I wanted to help women. I thought, this is a business that's flexible. I love it for me, and I want to help others be able to have a career that they can enjoy. So that's where it all came from. And I was all in from that point. And my kids know no different, right? They were all born under the beauty school era. And so I remember kind of feeling guilty at times, like when my kids would be like, Mom, you never come to school stuff. Mom, you never make dinner, and I'd feel so guilty. And now it's awesome because, 24 years into this, my kids are older. My oldest is 22. I have 5 kids, 22 down to 10. And my older kids are proud of me, and they brag about me to their friends. And now my teenage daughters are coming to my school. So I never dreamed of being this old and that happening, but it's really fun to see it all play out.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love it. I love it. So why do you feel like you have been driven, it seems, business-wise? What is it in various businesses? Again, from the video cassette that your mom had in direct sales, so many women, hundreds of thousands of women around the world in direct selling. I'm sure hundreds of thousands of women in aesthetics, right? Mm-hmm. But what do you think drove you to do all these different things in this one little genre that many women, frankly, are afraid of? They're afraid of business. They're afraid of money.
Well, I think that God, when he made me, left fear out of me. Like, I don't have a lot of fear. I live by faith, and I'm like, everything will be okay. And that's why I take so much on. I'm not a big stressor. Very few times do I feel anxiety and stress. And I feel like that's such a blessing for me, and allows me to do what I do. But yeah, I think that it was just instilled in me, like, I'm going to help people. And in order to help people, sometimes you have to take chances and risk. And at the end of the day, like, God and my family are really, those are the things that I have to have and that keep me going. And as long as I will still have those, like, I'm okay if I lose worldly possessions, like, that doesn't stand in my way. And so, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, 1, you have to take chances. 2, you have to be willing to lose things and make sacrifices. And 3, you've got to be you have to have ADD. And I remember an employee telling me one time, she's like, man, your ADD is through the roof. And I was so offended. I'm like, what? I have never had anybody accuse me of having ADD. And I was like, that is crazy talk. And she's like, oh no, like, you need to learn more about ADD. Like, you're like squirrel. And I just remember being so offended and shocked. And now I'm like, totally. And someone once told me, she's like, well, that's entrepreneurs for you. You wouldn't be able to do 50 things at once if you didn't have ADD. So anyways, that was kind of a fun lesson.
Now it's the ultimate compliment.
Yes.
Right? Yep. I can do all the things at once.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, really what drives me is truly helping others on every level. But I feel like especially women is what I'm drawn to. And I feel like God has blessed me with experiences for a reason, to help other people. And so I want women to learn how to have skills that can help them feel a little bit more independent. I'm not like a women's rights person, like, go women, you have to be independent at all. But I'm like, hey, I want you to feel like you are a human and that you have options and you can be happy in life, right? And so I just feel like my job is to, like, have a toolbox with all the tools and be able to help people, like, hey, here's some tools for you right now, because that will change every year. We need different tools, different things. And so just being able to help women in that way where they're not necessarily capable of, doing that or learning that on their own. Hopefully that answered your question.
No, it's fabulous. Fabulous.
So what are some common financial challenges or obstacles that you see women face, and how can they address them?
Yeah. So one of the big things is, and let me share this. So I belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so for those of you who are familiar with that, I am a Relief Society president. and those of you who are not familiar with that, I have stewardship over all of the women in my congregation, which are in my neighborhood. And I am there to support and help them physically and spiritually. Okay. So in that and having
demanding job. I was going to say a job you don't get paid for, but it's demanding.
I was going to say also emotionally. That's a big one for women.
Yeah, for sure. And it is a job. I mean, we as mothers and fathers, that's a job we don't get paid for, but it is a lot of work, and I love it. I truly love it because I'm helping women. But at the same time, I told you I don't get stressed a lot. People are like, oh my gosh, how do you do it all? And I hate to swear, but I'm like, I do it all half-assed. How else do you do it all? But here's the thing. I just don't let things stress me out. Like, yes, I have all of these responsibilities on my plate today, but at the end of the day, what do I have to get done to be okay? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just doing what I have to do and being minimal and not a perfectionist. And I know that can bug people, but for me, it's like, that's how I do it all, So anyways, let me see. Let me try to remember what you asked me. What did you ask me?
What are some common financial challenges?
Financial. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I deal with right now, I have a lot of younger girls at church they're like newer moms. They've been married a couple of years. And I see that a lot of them want what their parents have now. Right? They don't realize how much hard work and sacrifices and years of waiting to get where we are. And at some point I was frustrated. I'm like, why are all these people creating these beastie children that feel entitled? And then I realized one day I'm doing it too. We're all doing it because a lot of us growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. I grew up with a family that did not have a lot of money. It was like rare to go out to eat. And now, like, most of us, especially in our area, are truly blessed financially, and we can afford to go out to eat all the time, especially if mom and dad are both busy. It just is easier. It's easiest. And so they're benefiting from all these things and living a life that we did not live. Our life is so foreign to them, right? I mean, I tell my kids, like, back when I was growing up, and they're like, oh yeah, in the dinosaur ages. And I'm like, okay, but to them, it's totally foreign, and they have no idea what we're talking about. So when I say you're spoiled, they're like, what do you mean? Like, why am I spoiled? Because everybody goes out to eat all the time and, doing these things. And so financially, they just don't get it. They don't get it. So, this generation of girls in their 20s, I feel like and men, they're seeing what we worked so hard for, but they're seeing that and wanting that right now. And they want to skip all of the hardship and the sacrifice. And so I think that what's happening is the term keeping up with the Joneses is so huge, especially with social media and that comparison. And like you said, your friend thought you guys were perfect because we're seeing the perfect sides of everybody. And so I think that's the biggest financial problem is spending. We're spending because we feel like we have to. We are entitled to have the best things, and we need to keep up with everybody. And so that puts everybody in this struggle. And you look at the housing market, these young couples, I don't know how they're buying $650,000 starter homes. Like, ridiculous, but it is what it is. And they're making it work. But because of that, they're all strapped financially. A lot of them are hurting so bad. And I try every day. I'm thinking of like, how can I help these kids, realize like what they need to do and go on a budget. And the more time I spend with them, it's hard. It's hard. So yeah, Stephanie, I love to be able to help them in ways of like, hey, why don't we get smarter and save money and be more frugal and be creative on how to stretch our budget more. But then also, of course, I'm a huge fan of like, why don't we make more money and then we can spend it and not feel bad about it? Like, to me, yeah, I'd rather the challenge of make more money so I can spend what I want and be happy, But if you can't do that, then you have a choice. you have a choice. Either make more money and have the lifestyle you want, or be frugal and don't spend and save and help your husband by not spending all the money he's making, while you're at home raising the kids, and be smart. So you have a choice, and I want to help girls no matter what they choose. I want to help them with tools and resources to make that happen. And so direct marketing has always been a part of my life since that high school moment, because I love it so much. Like, you can be an entrepreneur without all this overhead. Like, I'm crazy. I started the beauty school. I'll tell you, when I first opened that beauty school in 2002, we opened our doors, and it cost me about, it was about $25,000 a month in overhead to keep that business running. And now I've had that for almost 24 years. And now I am spending $130,000 a month to keep my doors open. So I remember my dad asking about that last year, and he about died. He's like, "You do what? That's so much pressure." And I'm like, "It is so much pressure. Good thing I'm not a big stressor." Yeah. But I mean, if you can own your own business and not have that overhead, amazing. So I tell everybody, if I love a product and I love a company and trust it, you bet that I am going to promote it. And if I'm going to promote it, then why not make money off of that? And that's my retirement plan. So, Amen. So I know you guys totally get that. But it's just a great way for these young girls to be able to own their own business with low cost and make money to help their family.
Mm-hmm.
Spoken to somebody who's writing out big checks every month. Take us to some dark days. Have there been dark days in your business and financial world over the last 4 years?
Everything's been perfect.
I literally believed her the first time. The first time I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
You're like, "Dang, there goes my story." No, some dark days for sure. Let me tell you a few. First of all, just, I never really panicked. I never really had, my husband and I did. So we shared a checking account in high school, which is crazy now that I have kids that age. Like, what?
Wait,
yeah.
You shared a checking account?
Yes. So our senior year, we had like work release where we had enough credits that we could go to work and fulfill our elective credits. So we both worked a full-time job our senior year. We knew we wanted to get married. And so we just put money away and had a checking account.
Wow. I have never heard of that before.
I know. Crazy.
That's so cool.
It really is.
I was going to say, if you ever heard about it before, it would have been a bad story, right? But that is awesome. Yeah. Discipline.
Yeah. It's a fun, successful story. So when I first got to school going, that $34,000 that my mom gave me went really fast. Really fast. I think my rent was $7,000 a month. I had a couple of employees. It went faster than I thought it would. So I panicked. I'm like, what do I do? And I would wake up in the middle of the night with panic attacks. And that was a first for me. And I remember praying, like, what am I supposed to do? And the reason I'm still doing what I'm doing is because God tells me all the time that I am meant to be there, and I'm not ready to walk away. I've tried to just like walk away, close it, or sell it. A few times it looked like I was going to sell it, and it never happened. And so I just left it in God's hands and said, fine, when it's time for me to walk away, you've got to tell me really loud that it's time to walk away. But I would have panic attacks. And I remember one night I woke up at 2 a.m. I prayed. I was crying. I didn't know what to do because I had zero money in the bank. I had my rent due the next day, which was $7,000. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? And literally the next day, a mother and her daughter walked in, and she's a cash pay student, and she's starting the next week. So she signed up, paid the cash that day. Literally, like, how miraculous is that, right? $10,000 tuition. So paid my rent. Another time I had a panic attack. I was out of money. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what I'm doing. I went and sat in my office, and I put my head down on my desk like this, and I looked down in my garbage can, And every time I got a credit card application, I would rip them up, throw them in my garbage can. And I'm looking at my garbage can going, wait, I can get a credit card. I can get a few credit cards. So I applied for some credit cards, got $60,000 in credit, and continue to run my business. The other things that have like happened that have been really crazy. So I I decided to open a hair program. And so I had my hair program, the cosmetology program, and the aesthetics program, which is the skincare. And I had them running in 2 different buildings within a shopping center. And I had built up some debt. The school itself didn't have any debt except for I owed my landlord, and I owed him quite a bit of money between build outs and just rent over the years that I couldn't afford. And so him and I had a great relationship. One thing that I've learned is talk to people, communicate, don't be afraid and like ignore phone calls because you don't have good answers. So I earn respect from people by just telling them the truth. And I would talk to my landlord all the time. Anytime he called, or I would reach out to him to say, "Hey, I just can't afford rent this month." And he respected me and he worked with me and was patient. And it got to a point where I was supposed to renew my lease. And I owed a lot of money, and he was like, "What do you what do you think? Do you think you should keep going, or do you think you should close the hair school?" And I said, "Well, I think I should keep going because I have 30 people relying on me. Like, it's not like a shop that I can just close and say, okay, we're going out of business, this month and whatever." It's like I've got, 10 staff members and 30 students that are signed up to, finish months away from now. And so I had met some ladies that owned a hair school, and they were talking to me about partnering with me. And while that didn't happen, they went to the landlord and offered to take over the lease. And so my landlord called me. It was a Friday night. My husband and I play co-ed softball. I was waiting for my husband to get home so we could go play. And I get a call from my landlord, and he says, "Hey, Mandalyn, I need you to do something." And I said, "What?" He said, "I need you to vacate the hair school, and I need you out within 2 weeks." And I'm shocked. My jaw drops. I'm quiet. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I need you to do that. But if you do that, then I'm going to forgive all the debt that you have with me." And I was just like thinking, okay, that brought a little bit of peace to me. Like, it was a lot of money. We're talking like $300,000, not just a little bit of money. Like, that's a lot of money. So part of me is like, wait, how am I going to get everybody out in 2 weeks? I've got to help these students find a new school. I've got to help staff members find a new job. Like, I take all that upon myself. So this is going to be crazy. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, at least I won't have that debt. That's huge. So I hung up the phone. I was a wreck. I was bawling. I call my husband. I tell him what happens. And he says, "Well, Mandy," my husband he calls me Mandalyn now. He called me Mandy back then. He said, "Well, Mandy, sounds like you just sold your hair school for $300,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great way to look at it. This is awesome, And my skin school is my baby. That's where my passion is. I added hair simply because everyone was asking for it. And so honestly, he's like, my husband said, "Give it a month. That month's going to be hard, but after that, it'll be so great." And so I just kept hanging on to that hope and having that faith that he's right. It will feel really great in a month. So I just kept looking forward to that month. And so that's how I roll. Like, I get through every day by thinking, what is the next great thing that's going to happen? And then I hang on to that, and I love every second of thinking about, and it could be so simple. It's like tonight, I'm going to watch my nephew play varsity basketball. We look forward to that on Friday nights. And for me, like, I can get through any hard thing because Friday I'm going to watch my nephew play basketball, and I'm going to be around all my family. So that's me, right? So anyway, so I held on to that. I'm like, you're right. In a month, it's going to feel so good. So anyways, that was a huge financial issue that could have went really bad, that went really good. I'll tell you, God blessed me. Every single student, I delivered the news to my students and my staff. I helped my staff find jobs. I helped every single student, all 30 students, find a new school within the 2 weeks. And they didn't hate me. They asked me to go with them to tour the other schools and help them make a choice. And so it just, everything fell into place. And now I'm so grateful that I don't have the burden, because the hair school for a while was kind of like my black hole. And if I kept that going, it was going to eat up everything and even take over my aesthetics school. So that was one of those things where God said, hey, if you're not going to put an end to this, I'm going to. And that was one of the scariest things in my life. Financially, it was really scary, but yeah, here I am. I got through it.
Well, and God's like, and I'm going to forgive the debt. Here's I'm going to show you how you're going to sell this school for
cherry on top, right?
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
There's no other way but to see God's hand in that,
Yeah. Yes.
Such a gift.
Absolutely.
I love that you had such a great relationship that those students wanted you to go with them. They trusted you so much. That really speaks true to your character.
Thank you. Yeah, I do the admissions for Mandalyn Academy now, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's my baby, it's my passion, and I get to meet these students and tell them how I'm going to help them, and that I'm a forever mentor for them. And it means a lot. I talked to an older lady last night who wants to start in my night classes in March, and she was just like, I can't believe that I'm talking to you, that owns it and founded it, and I just love your passion and your care. And so, that's what really sets me apart. And to be honest, I mean, that's another big lesson for me is like, I have to be involved, but not only do I have to be, I want to be. And because of both of those things, I'm constantly involved, and I can, I feel like I can address issues before they become a really big problem. Because I'm there, and every day I just want to improve. That 1%, you just want to improve 1% every day. That's what I focus on.
While we're on business, before we get to the whole mindset thing, you talked about, and I think so many women, particularly mothers who have children, are concerned about starting a business, are concerned about going and making, and you're shaking your head right now. Like it's a huge thing, because they feel like they're going to be sacrificing something, time with kids or something else. And you talked about navigating that. Can you explore that a little bit? Why do you think women are hung up on that? And what is your recommendation?
Oh, sure. So every time I talk to a prospective student that wants to come to Mandalyn Academy, I talk about a couple of things. I'm like, if you're a mom, you will have mom guilt. It's a real thing. Just plan on it. And, even I felt that, and I shared with you guys. My kids would say, you don't ever go to the school stuff. You don't fix dinner. And I felt that guilt. But then I've lived through to start seeing the reward of my efforts, that I teach my kids that we care about other people. We're there to help other people, and that you can do hard work and there's rewards for that. And so I bring that up, and every single time these moms will look at me and say, thank you for addressing that, because I definitely have felt that weight. Right. So it's a real thing. Mom guilt is one of the biggest things. It's like, for some reason, we think that as soon as we pop a baby out of our womb, that we are like destined to do everything for them and our husbands and nothing for ourselves. Because if we do that, we are going to feel so guilty. So I tell the girls, like, yeah, you're doing this for you, but you are also doing this for your family. So I think that's the mindset we have to have in business is, look, I'm helping myself, absolutely, but I'm helping my family with the income. I'm helping these people, my customers, my clients, that I'm going to change their life with whatever the product is that I'm selling them. In my case at the school, it's an education that's going to create a whole new career path for them that's flexible in being a mom. Or it could be the skincare products and services that we offer to our spa clients there. Or, I've sold essential oils for years, and I know without a doubt that there are people that should never live without essential oils. And so as long as I have faith and belief in what I'm doing and in myself, then I'm doing the world so much good. So I think it's just looking on the flip side. What are the positives around this, not just the negatives? And understanding that, hey, our kids are going to carve their own journey, and the best we can do is be an example for them. Not only that, as a mom, we've got to be emotionally stable. We've got to be happy to teach them how to do that. So we need to fill our own cup first. And so whatever that looks like for you, but if we like to spend money on ourselves, then one of the biggest things we can do is make money, to support that. So I think just kind of like looking at all the things and deciding like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And the biggest thing is balance. I think balance is something that's not even real. Balance will shift every single day. There has to be a new balance, right? So, but trying to have the best balance in your life at that time, in that day, is a goal for me. What does today look like, and what does balance feel like for me?
Yeah, and like you said, it's a beautiful example for our children in many aspects. Even pursuing your dreams. Everything takes sacrifice. And so it's an example to show them, this is what I want. And so this is how you guys can support me, and we can sacrifice together to get this end goal. And I think that helps children when they grow up to know that it's not just okay. It's more than okay to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. And there's, everybody is different and everybody needs something different. Some people will always need to work for someone else from 9 to 5 and make a paycheck. And that's great. I want my kids to think bigger than that. So they're not living check to check. And so we are a huge fan of trades, with my husband being a contractor. And I already see that in my kids. My kids are like, yeah, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to become an esthetician or a contractor or whatever. And I think that's great. In our home, that's like, we feel good that we're like creating that, within our kids, and that they don't feel limited, that they can do whatever they want to do. And so a lot of times we influence, right? So do you guys remember growing up? I mean, our parents like really highly influence us. And maybe that's like, they don't agree with trades because you need to go to traditional college, or they don't agree with like direct selling because that's a bunch of hocus pocus and get rich quick and pyramid schemes. Like, so many things are planted into our heads. So I think it's important that we open the next generation's minds and say like, look, you can make this whatever you want to make it, right?
Yeah. There are many paths to get to where you want to be. So figuring out which one aligns with, who you are and your beliefs and how to get there. It's a great path for you. Definitely. When it comes to self-care for the mind, what is your biggest strength?
Letting go. For instance, this Christmas is my jam. I live for Christmas. And this Christmas, I took on way too much. I had a little trip to Tennessee. I have a friend that's an actress and had a movie premiere, so I went by myself. I will say that trip was amazing. I just wish it wasn't in December. But that kind of took up some time. I have my staff Christmas party. I had the big one is I volunteer for the American Fork Police Department, and I put on their Christmas party. And it's a lot of work because I go around collecting donations from companies so that all 70 officers and employees have like a really nice gift to go home with. And so it's taken a lot of time away from my family and even just me enjoying the holiday. And so I didn't decorate my home. Literally a couple weeks before Christmas, we got our tree up. I didn't put any lights on it. My kids decorated it on Christmas Eve because they were sick of like seeing a bald tree. I didn't get any of my decorations out. It was killing me. And finally, I just had to say, you know what? It's fine. Christmas is still coming. It's still going to be amazing. And I just have to let it go this year. And so I think that's my biggest strength, is just being able to kind of let go, not hold on to negativity, just kind of look and say, you know what, tomorrow's a new day and I'll start fresh tomorrow. And if I want to do something better tomorrow, I'll do it. So
I love that perspective. And we can relate because this year we actually didn't decorate our Christmas tree. And I think the most decorations we put out were a couple of pillows and maybe one wreath. I think that was the extent of it.
That was it. That was it. We bought our live tree from locally here. and a beautiful tree. In fact, it was
my favorite that we've ever had.
Favorite ever that Steph's ever had. And then it sat out on our back porch under the deck for a few days. And then, kind of the bottom crusts over, right? And so you're supposed to really fresh cut it again when you bring it inside. We forgot somehow. We were in the midst of all kinds of business launching.
Well, and it was our 10-year anniversary.
That's true.
And it was our daughter's birthday. Like, December has a lot packed in it.
Yeah,
we bring it in the warm house, and then we don't cut again the trunk fresh again so that it can soak up all that water. And then we put it in the stand, put it up, and forgot to water it. I like to say we.
I know. I'm like,
so I forgot to water it, I think, for like 2 days. It's sitting here, in 74 degree house with no water. And then we finally started watering. So literally, I think that tree was shedding pine needles 4 days, 4 days into its existence, and that was weeks before Christmas.
Which was a first. Like, typically we get our Christmas tree a week or two before Christmas. And I was like, man, we got the most beautiful tree this year, and we got it early, and we can decorate it.
And then when we go to decorate it, it is so brittle that every place that you touch, it's just shedding. So we could not decorate it. So
we couldn't.
You could not put lights on it. It would start a fire.
Exactly. Light it up.
Yeah. Well, but here's the moral of the story is, looking back to your December, did it go well? Like, are you happy with the outcome, or do you still regret it and wish you would have decorated?
I grieve a little because I do at least have the tree, have something on the tree. So even talking about it's a little painful.
That's funny. Well, now you know your minimal threshold. Next year, you have to at least have the tree.
I'm good with it. This year, 2025, I can already envision, we're going to go up and have a tree, right? Unless we just go on a whole month-long cruise.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Well, and I think, was it last year or the year before where we didn't decorate? And I was so mad that nothing was done. And I'm like, I want this to feel, like Christmas, like a cozy Christmas. I have this beautiful home. And my mom always decorated our home growing up so beautifully. And anyway, so I stayed up till 2 a.m. by myself decorating the whole house. Christmas Eve. And I was so happy. I loved it. But this year I was like, I'm not doing it. Anytime people ask me, I'm like, you know what? It actually was an amazing Christmas. It really was. It was very chill and relaxed because we had gotten the tree early and because we had done the gifts early. A lot of firsts for us that we've been working on. And so overall, it actually was a really beautiful Christmas. So
awesome. For me too. And I'm glad I took my trip, and I'm glad that I helped with the police because we decided this was our last year. And so I won't even get to do it again. And so it all just fell into place when I realized it's okay. I won't even remember that I didn't decorate this year in a couple years, Yeah.
But we will, and we have a record of it right here on the Forever Young Show. So
we'll remember because it was the same year that we didn't even decorate the tree.
That's right.
We're going to be the elf on the shelf. We're going to have this we'll send Mandalyn and Billy a little TV with just this part of the episode.
Oh my God.
One of the parts of the house you didn't decorate.
I love it. Please do.
So letting it go, now I'm starting to sing Disney. If let it go is your strength, what's your weakness when it comes to mindset, self-care?
Letting it go. Have you ever heard your biggest strength is also your biggest weakness? So it depends on whose perspective it is, right? But I tell my employees all the time, one of my top 5 strengths is adaptability. And so truly that is my blessing, is I can adapt easily. I don't hold on to things. I can kind of move wherever the wind is taking me and roll with the punches, which is great. But it's also super annoying for people that are close to me, because like they will be like, oh, wait, now you want to shift? You already said you were going to do this. Like, now you're being annoying, you know? And so, plus I can let things go that I decide don't matter to me, and maybe that matters more to someone else. So I think it can be a thorn just because other people are affected sometimes by those decisions I make that just seem loosey-goosey to me, and maybe they aren't to someone else. And so I'm not a perfectionist. That can impact my work, right? Like, I told you, you know, I'm half-assed. So if you ask me to do something, you're going to get half-assed work. So maybe you don't like that, then don't call me. But I am deadline driven, meaning that I will get it done on the very last day possible. And so I do get it done.
Like me. So what strategies have you found effective for managing your stress? Because you said that like you're just not a stressful person. And also practicing self-compassion.
So I laugh at myself a lot. Like if I mess up, I've learned how to just laugh at myself and be okay with it and not beat myself up mentally, because that's what we tend to do. A lot of times it's like, oh my gosh, you're so stupid. Like, and we talk ourselves to ourselves terribly, and we tell ourselves lies all the time. And I've learned not to do that. I just kind of laugh it off and like, okay, sure, I could be a little bit better. And like I said, it's that 1%, instead of feeling like I have to totally change and become a whole better person, like just that 1%. If I can make a 1% increase or improvement in my attitude or in what I'm eating or in anything I do, that's doable, right? So just kind of feeling like, you know, I can do that. Also, just like I do like to meditate. Do I do it enough? No, but I do take my personal time. So whether that's like reading my scriptures, and, you know, saying my prayers and just finding a quiet moment, to be able to talk to God. When I'm driving, I'm a terrible driver and I talk to God all the time. First, I'm like, take the wheel. And second, I'm like, hey, let's talk about what's happening today and what I need you to help me with, you know, or what you want me to do. And so having that peace of mind, like I honestly don't know how people do it without that relationship with God, because like I feel like I can do anything with him. And so to me, that's a big deal to me. But outside of like, you know, talking about that part with God, like it really is just kind of feeling like, you know what, I'm a normal person. Everything's going to be okay. I need time for me. I don't feel guilty about spending money on myself or taking time out for me. My husband, I would guess that he would say that my biggest flaw is shopping. Like I spend too much money. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think I spend that much money. Yes, Amazon comes to my house every day, but it's for little crap. And it's not a lot of money. I tell him all the time, it could be worse. And I will tell you this. I found that I am not a shopper. I am a supporter. I am simply supporting other business owners, right?
This is going to be the most played 30 seconds of the entire show. I'm a shopper. I'm a spender. I am a supporter. I'm just supporting them.
Yes. Yes. I want people to support me. That's not a bad thing. So yeah, I just feel like for me, I want to feel joy every day, and I've learned to let go. I've learned not to compare. I wish I could instill all of that in my kids. And I do believe that I will over time, just by example. I can't tell them and force them, you know, what to do, but I hope that just my daily example will teach them. Mom was always happy. She didn't seem to compare herself, you know, or beat herself up because she made a mistake, you know.
One thing that I've learned kind of along those lines is, because I'm actually a very stressed out person a lot of the time.
Okay.
What do you say?
Stressed out?
Yeah. Am I not? Oh.
I don't feel like your typical mojo and like the essence of Stephanie,
Mm-hmm.
And your personality and your values. I don't feel like that is innately like a stressed out kind of a personality. In fact, like when we met, when we were dating and stuff and courting, I didn't feel like you were a stressed out personality. You'd have stressors in your life. Today, I would say that you stress. I see you stressing more on things, but I feel like you're a fish out of the water, and that's why you're a terrible stressor. It's because you're a fish out of water. It's like not innate to you.
Huh. Interesting. I guess I'll have to rethink that. And I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, that totally threw me off. I thought you were going to agree with me. Well, okay. So maybe it's more that I can go quickly to stress in a lot of situations.
Okay.
Maybe that's more of what I'm feeling. And that I'm frequently tense in my body. So maybe I don't necessarily show, but I feel that tension.
I'll try to pay more attention to your body.
I'm glad you brought that up. I get massages. I used to get them weekly, but then I decided to try to go on a budget. So I get them done monthly. And I tell my husband all the time, that is my therapy. Do not take that away from me, because I do, even though I say I don't stress very much, my body would totally disagree, right? It takes the brunt of it. And so I am like from here to here, like very tense. Mm-hmm. And so massages are critical for me to be able to just let that go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point.
You're welcome.
Now
Seth, massages.
Wait.
Actually, he's the one that's like, Stephanie, we need to get another massage.
Oh, there you go.
I'm actually not the spender. Like if I'm like, well, fine, I'm just going to go spend money. And he's like, what are you going to do? Spend $50 at Ross?
And like, oh boy.
And I'm like, no, it's going to be $100 this time.
Ooh. Right.
I love Ross.
Well, we don't have
you and I can go to Ross and spend it. I love Ross.
Let's do it.
I'm just a supporter. I just like to support businesses.
Yes.
My wife.
Irrespective of the price. This happens all the time. The kids will say, how much was that? And mom will know exactly how much it was. And she probably saved like 79% on a bad day on something. And they'll say to me, same thing. Hey, Dad, how much did you spend on that? I said, I have no idea. I wanted it, so I bought it.
So I'm a blend of both of you. I don't ever look at price tags, but I go to Ross because I know I'm going to save money. So.
Yes, that is very true. Very true.
So do you have a specific massage therapist that you go to or something? Because we actually have our massage therapist does house calls, and so in fact she was just here 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And
that is very convenient. That would be very convenient. I don't want a massage in my house because I wouldn't be able to fully relax in my house.
Yes.
So I need to go somewhere. Yeah. I need to go somewhere and just feel like I'm totally getting away from everything. So yeah, I go to Provo. I live in Saratoga, but I go to Provo. Deanne is my masseuse, and she is amazing. Like she can touch my body and tell me everything that is going right and everything that is going wrong within the first couple minutes. So yeah, I've loved having her for the last few years.
So what type of massage do you get from her?
So this is the cool thing. It's not necessarily like a type of massage. Like she just does my massage, and she will just work the areas that she senses are tense. So it's like usually a medium pressure, just full body massage. But like she'll ask, what do you want me to give extra attention to? And usually it's like my head, or maybe I say, you know what, I want my face massaged more today, or whatever. But literally she will just find things and she will work them out for me. Mm-hmm. So I don't even, other than like, hey, what extra things do you want me to do? It's like, I can just put her on autopilot and know that she's going to address anything that needs to be addressed.
Beautiful. I feel like that's how ours are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Does she work in a clinic? Like, does she do couple massages or anything like that?
So she has her own practice in a clinic, but it's just her. And then she rents out rooms to like estheticians. And so she's the only massage therapist in there. So she doesn't do couples. So when my husband and I get couples massages, we go to some shady places. My husband he's frugal. He wants to save money. Every time I text these guys, we can get in instantly. But the stories I have to share are for a whole nother episode, and they are fun.
It's a different part of town.
It's a different part of town.
Oh, that sounds fun. So I know that you talk about how comparison is the thief of joy, and how not comparing ourselves or our accomplishments or our journeys to each other.
Yeah, I did learn that early on. I mean, I will say this, not that, I mean, I'm human. If someone has something that I want it, and I'll probably get it.
And you'll because you're supporting people. You are just all about supporting.
Yes, you're welcome, people, right? And I don't want them to feel alone and odd, so I'm going to get what you have so you can feel good about it. So I learned that early in life for some reason, that it doesn't really matter if I can't have what you have, because some things are just given by God. We're just blessed with them, and they're not meant for me. And I don't want your problems. Right? Like, that's one thing, like, even in relationships, like, ultimately I decided, okay, I have a choice with my husband as we're going through these growing pains of growing older together and becoming different people. I can choose to not be okay with that and feel like I can walk away from this and find someone better, but I'm going to find somebody with different problems, because we all have problems. And like, I'd rather just stick with him, who I know really well, and learn how to work with our problems, right? So it's the same with anything. Like, I think one of the biggest reasons I'm okay not having what you have is because I totally understand that along with all the cool things you have and all the blessings and cool, like, beautiful things you have, you also have ugly things. And I don't necessarily want your ugly things. So I think that's what's helped me, is like, I'm okay with my beautiful and my ugly. I'm okay with that, because I can still change that. Anything, right? Even my looks these days, I can really change that if I want to. Like, I have the control to change a lot of things in my life. And even like just positive energy, like, I can change almost anything. I'm going to share this, and this might be a little too much for you, Seth, but I did not like my body. I was always happy with my body, always happy with my body. And after my third child, I went through a period where I was not happy with my body. I felt like I needed especially like my breast. I was like, I need a boob job. I am not happy with this. My husband was like, oh, heck no, you are not doing that. Like, he was scared to death of that thought. And so, you know what? I prayed every day, and I wrote things to myself every day that I would be happy with my body. And amazingly, like, I remember not like a certain day, but I just remember over a period of time, like, that thought just totally going away and me loving my body again. Like, all of a sudden, I was totally comfortable in my own skin. And I was like, I'm happy with my body. I'm happy with my boobs. I do not need a boob job. And like, that's crazy, because nothing changed. They didn't automatically lift or fill or anything like that. It was my mindset. And God helped me with that. Right? Like, so to me, I can overcome anything, because a lot of it is energy and mindset. Right? So honestly, like, that's huge for me. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I think the biggest thing with comparison is we're only seeing the best of people most of the time, and we're not seeing their ugly. And I don't want to know what their ugly is, and I don't want it for me. So
definitely can relate to a lot of that. You know what? If God wanted me to have perkier boobs, I guess that would have been part of the plan.
I think, Stephanie, we would just get into trouble.
then you'd be reading the book. Last week on one of our recent episodes, it was about actually toxic implant illness. And,
yes.
Our dear friend, Marcy Nettles, wrote a book on toxic implant illness.
Mm-hmm. Her journey on how she got it. And
she and 10 other women, right?
Yes. Yeah. Not just her journey.
In the book. So
other women's
too. I had being at a beauty school, a lot of my students have done that. And one student in particular that came several years ago went through that, and she had surgery after surgery and was a wreck. And I thought, oh, that wasn't worth it. So really that was kind of in the back of my head as well at that time. Like, there are risks, right? And I told you I'm not afraid to take risk, but you have to weigh that out. Like, wait, I want to look better. What looks better, right? If this is something that could happen, what's going to look better? I think me right now is going to look better than that. So
definitely. During my experience, all of that wasn't really coming out yet. And so it definitely was validation later on of, oh, I'm so glad I didn't have to go through that to understand, how toxic it is.
Yeah.
So grateful.
Well, good. I'm so glad for you that you were able to get through that and now have that validation.
Thank you.
Awesome. And believe, like, Mandalyn, do you like, I am a weathered man on the show. Like, we're all up in it. Like, you're not going to.
Okay, good.
I'm not going to.
People should really take that differently, honey.
Oh, really?
You got to watch what you say.
They can take it the way they want. Like, let it go.
It's true.
Let it go.
I'm thinking, how did you take that?
We can talk about it later.
So let's talk about her.community. We were actually talking about that a little in the pre-show. You and a friend.
My sister.
Okay. It's a good thing that you could just say she's my friend and she's my sister and a friend, because like sometimes
That's right.
Sometimes they don't go together.
You're not my friend right now.
This is true. It's like you always love, but sometimes you don't like, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I say that all the time.
Well, good. We're alike.
I have a lot of Jesus in my heart, so I love people.
I love it.
Sometimes we are not on friendly terms. We're not doing the things
including spouses, right?
There.
Some days.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Having a hard time.
Okay, it's getting hot in here.
It was hot the minute you walked in.
Oh, nice. Come back. Nice comeback.
Yeah. I mean, there are times that, like, I'm sure we've never really had this discussion. So here we are.
Let's do it. Let's uncover it.
Let's do it.
It's not saying that you don't like me. It's just there are some things that I know you don't like that I do. And that's okay. Oh my goodness.
It is okay. It is okay.
That's what I mean by yes. Sometimes our spouses fall in that category too, because we're all human and it's okay.
It is okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, Seth, what is one thing that you don't like about Stephanie?
Oh, she's going in for it.
Oh.
You got it. You have something.
That's true.
I'm thinking just, honey, I'm working really hard to come up with something.
Oh, wow. Okay. Stephanie, go ahead and tell us what yours is.
How sometimes he comes off as obsessed with basketball.
Oh, okay.
Fatal flaw.
I love to watch him play. He's really good at it. I just, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm over here. Hey.
Oh, she's jealous of basketball.
Front row, court side.
I love it.
No, I will answer. Sometimes I don't know what to do. I don't know that I want to say I don't like it. I don't like it the way I feel. Sometimes I don't know what to do with your fire, because it gets me a little off kilter and just And sometimes, mistake on my part, I'm learning how to do this, is I take it personal. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you all hating on me? Right? When I realize that, oh, you're not hating on me. That's just your personality.
Yeah, I have a lot of passion.
You come off with a little Irish, I'm going to kick you in your arse, right? And so you're just like, boom, and I'm like, I don't know how to take that. But I love it. But I love, anyway.
Yeah.
So sometimes it really ticks me off.
It's the same concept.
See,
I get it.
this is the first step in therapy, right?
Uh-huh.
Now we have a little interlude music, and thank you for joining our therapy in session with Mandalyn Freeland,
That's right.
marriage therapist and expert guru. She's the author of 23 books on
One day.
about your spouse, and has helped thousands of countless spouses.
It should be stories about what don't you like about yourself.
Yes. Oh, story. Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's right. Oh,
Look on that.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, it would.
You know what though? High school sweethearts, a lot of them don't last. And it's because you have to allow yourselves to grow up, right? I mean, you're young in high school, you have no idea who you are yet, what you're doing. And so to me, I realized like, whoa, we've got to let ourselves grow up. And sometimes that's allowing each other to turn into our parent, right? And it's like, oh, wait, what? I didn't marry that. I married a fun kid who was like, liked to be carefree and play. And now to see him transition an adult and become like his dad, it's like, I gotta love it. I gotta be okay with it. So I think that's something that's been really challenging, but I've loved learning.
I think it's important to, be able to go with the flow, and because I feel like you want to always be evolving, right? You and everyone else. And so you're going to want grace as you're doing that and figuring it out. And they're going to need grace as they're doing that and figuring it out too.
You bring up a great point. Like high school sweethearts, you're big. I mean, I'm thinking about who I was in high school. Amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like I wasn't.
Oh yeah, amazing.
I'm laughing because I was thinking of your high school picture.
You got to post that later.
I was thinking, oh my goodness.
It might be in one of these shorts.
Yeah.
Like what did Seth, Stephanie, and Mandalyn look like in high school?
Oh,
Okay.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I seriously looked like I was 12 years old. My high school, my senior year, I was a late bloomer. So I graduated, I was like 5'7", 120 pounds or whatever. And big personality in a kind of like Aladdin, really, really small body.
Hey, that's just like our daughter.
That is. She is a big personality in a small body. So
There you go.
I show up for senior pictures and at the photographer's studio, and full on cardigan, blue shirt, and a bow tie, right? Like real, I'm wearing a bow tie. I don't know if you remember it wasn't a clip on. I can't remember if it was a wraparound tie or if it was an wraparound tie. But we get the high school yearbook. The only senior 12-year-old. I'm the only 12-year-old in the entire senior graduating class of 420 or whatever it is, who's also wearing a bow tie. There was not one other bow tie with a big cheesy pin. Right?
Wow. So you look like the little nerd that's like 9th grade graduating for like 3 years early.
Yeah.
Totally.
Awesome.
Think about that and how you guys have weathered 25 years. And it is so true that many don't make it because they're not willing to grow with each other. And like,
Yeah.
I don't have any concept of that, Mandalyn, because as Stephanie and I being in a remarriage situation where we both had lives when we were young, right? In fact, in fact, I remember the first night that we met at the dance, on the dance floor, And I asked her out after that night. We had danced a bunch, and she said, sure. And I said, Stephanie, I'm 40 years old 39 at the time. I'm 39 years old with 6 kids, right? I mean, there's a package here, folks. Actually, pardon me. Yeah. There are several packages. We're Amazon. We're the whole truck, right? And we were coming to a point where we met each other after we'd already developed a lot of that adulting, right? We'd had so many experiences, raised kids and whatnot.
Sure.
It's a beautiful tribute.
But it brings its own challenges too, right? I mean, that's the beautiful thing. Is marriage is hard, no matter where you're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, congratulations to you and Billy.
Yes.
Thank you.
I remember talking to a friend, and I had opened up to her about something, and she was like, oh my goodness, Stephanie, I would have never known that you guys had hardship because your marriage looks so perfect. And
you talking about our marriage?
Yes.
What? We have hardship.
And not necessarily the blending of families. And,
oh, goodness gracious. Yeah.
That's probably the hardest.
Let's talk about Vitamix.
Yeah.
Still blending.
Challenges and opportunities.
Yes. But it was just really interesting to me. She was a really close friend too. And just how she had put our marriage up on a pedestal and thought that we were perfect. And I'm like, oh girl, oh no, we are very much human. And there are no perfect marriages out there. Some might be a little smoother or healthier or different things like that. But everybody has their challenges. Anyways.
But the best marriages are made of two people who are willing to work.
That's right.
Work and forgive.
I love it.
There's some things every woman that I know and that we work with, I want her, not them. I want her to hear what you've shared with us today. It has been tremendous. It's been inspiring. It's been spunky. It's been fun. It's been spiritual.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. It was such a pleasure to have you on here and to share your light and your experience and everything.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And cut. It's a wrap.
Thank you so much for being here today. And thank you for sharing this episode with that one friend who needs this conversation. Thank you for all the ratings, the reviews, the comments, and especially the support. We so appreciate you.
Now, if you want to take a peek behind the curtain and be the first to know about special previews, backstage updates here at the show, and especially some private collection content that doesn't come out in the regular show,
be sure to join our VIP community at theforeveryoungshow.com.